Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole speaking to you Sunday afternoon, January 16th, as we enter week 2 of Political Science 1013 for the spring 2022 term. Everyone, to go over very quickly what we have for you this week, please notice first of all, a list of term paper topics went out. You should have received that attached to an email. It is also up on the course website in the course home area. Remember, it's not mandatory or required for you to do a term paper. If you do, it could help you to drop a lower grade from earlier in the course. So I hope over the next few weeks before midterm you will take a look at that document. And if there are any of those topics that are of interest to you, please contact me, and I'll be happy to give you further assistance with researching one of those topics. So remember, you don't have to do a term paper, but it could help you raise your grade by the end of the term. Now, we are in the middle of a discussion. Discussion number 1, which asks you to discuss the topic of whether violence against the government is ever justified and whether you yourself could ever imagine taking part in such a thing. We had 2 articles for you to look at, one of which reported the results of a survey that suggested that an increasing number of Americans might support, under some conditions, violence against the government. And we also sent a link to another article that attempts to debunk that notion. So that discussion began yesterday morning, Saturday, and will continue through midnight tomorrow, Monday. Okay? So enter an initial post and then respond to at least one of your classmates by midnight tomorrow, Monday, for 20 points credit. All right, the discussion will run through midnight tomorrow, Monday. Our first quiz will be this Thursday, the 20th, running all day for 24 hours. It will consist of 10 true false items, 2 points each, for 20 points. Okay? There are 3 articles for you to look at. The first one is by Mr. William Galston of the Washington, D.C. think tank, the Brookings Institution. There's been quite a bit of alarm ever since the events of January 6th, 1 year ago, January 6, 2021, about the overall condition of this political system we have in our country and whether we're going to be able to continue to play by what we think of as the normal rules in coming months and years ahead. And Mr. Galston expresses some concern about that. Now remember, everybody, while I'm thinking of it, we sent you instructions on accessing material from the Wall Street Journal. This particular article is from the Wall Street Journal. So look at the announcement that went out about that. You should be able to access that free of charge using the library's subscription. Okay. Some of our other material comes from sites like those of the New York Times or the Washington Post, which generally will let you look at a few articles per month for free. But if you run up against a paywall, contact me, and I will try to get the text of any article that you cannot access to you. All right, so the first piece is the one by Mr. Galston from the Wall Street Journal. Okay. Then we have an article from the Atlantic Monthly about the question whether Americans are participating in democracy the way they used to do. And the author of this article thinks that Americans are not. And that perhaps we need to get back in the democratic habit. And so the article discusses how we got out of that habit and what we need to do perhaps to get back into it. The third article discusses people who have been politically active, in particular in the town of Enid, Oklahoma, which is just a couple of hours' drive from Guyman, Goodwell, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. So I hope that that is something that will be of interest to you. Expect 3 or 4 true false items on each of those 3 articles. All day Thursday, January 20th. Okay, so the quiz is Thursday the 20th. The discussion began yesterday, Saturday, and will run through midnight tomorrow, Monday, the 17th. Both the discussion and the quiz are worth 20 points. All right, so with the quiz on Thursday, we are winding up Unit 1. After that, we will get some material out for you for a quiz and a discussion about Unit 2 on political parties and pressure groups. And I will say a bit more about that in our video clip for next week. All right. So we're finishing up Unit 1 this week with our discussion and our quiz. Let me say just a word about the content of Unit 1. Unit 1 is on political participation. The first part of it discusses many different ways in which you can participate. And there's more than one way to take part. The second half of that presentation, roughly, deals with voting and elections in particular, that being a very important way of taking part and participating in our system, although not the only way. Now you notice there's two questions that are raised about voting in elections. One is vote choice. That is, how do voters make up their mind between candidates of the two political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats? What goes into making the voters' decision, all right? But before that, we have to remember that many, many people are eligible to vote, just about all adults, age 18 or over. Some of them vote and others do not. So turnout is an important question before we get to making the vote choice, because to make the vote choice, you have to decide, first of all, to turn out. And it turns out some people turn out and others do not. And the kind of people who do or do not turn out to vote may be very, very important. So there's two issues about voting we have to look at in that unit. Turnout and vote choice, after we've discussed many different ways besides voting, including voting, in which you can take part. All right, so that is Unit 1 that we'll be winding up with the quiz on Thursday. And then we will be getting some material out to you for a quiz and a discussion for Unit 2 on political parties and pressure groups. We'll have a bit more to say about that to you next week at this time. So please take part in the discussion between now and the end of the day tomorrow, Monday, if you have not done so already. Read that material for the quiz on Thursday, quiz 1. Look at that list of term paper topics, and we will talk to you once again at about this time next week. Good luck on all that, and take it easy.